Hello everyone and welcome back to WebNav episode 6. Episode 6, it's me, obviously here, Toastify, again with your boy Spinling. What's going on, Spinling? What's happening?
I'm alright.
You doing alright? Been doing some stuff?
I'm doing good.
You're doing good. That is beautiful. Today, we're going to be talking about LightWave. I thought I'd do a video, I guess like a little podcast thing talking about LightWave, because I find it like a strange little odyssey of the internet from a guy who I don't really know how it kind of got there. I've been looking into conventions and stuff recently because I want to make a video. And in amongst those, there was a bunch of stuff that I saw, and one of the weirdest ones was LightWave, which I have like no memory of. Do you remember LightWave? Were you around for this? This is 2022. No. You weren't around for 2022? You don't remember it?
Well, I don't remember it.
Oh, bro. So I guess I'll try. I mean, we can just get straight into it because I don't really want to do the preamble or anything. But I mean, there's a lot. LightWave is a really strange event because usually when it comes to YouTube conventions, they don't really go well. You know, you got your TanaCons, you got your Fousey Tubes, July 14th, July 15th, whatever. Hate Dies, Love Arrives, the Arrival of Simba, whatever other fucking alternative titles that thing has. And then you got even the ones like TwitchCon and Playlist Live. TwitchCon had like a controversy recently where like, wasn't it? Well, Emaru got assaulted, and the year before that, some adult porn star broke her back from jumping in the ball pit. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So
I do remember that.
So
it was literally like a Five Nights at Freddy's like jump scare, like ball pit.
Yeah, literally, it's fucking nuts. Like, I don't even know how. I don't know how she did it. It must have been like the floor bit underneath there must have been like really thin, and she just fucking hit the floor.
You want to know what it was? The floor was pure concrete, and there was no padding underneath. It was just a kiddie ball pit.
Jesus Christ! There's just concrete underneath that.
Yeah.
That is insane. I didn't even know that. I thought there was like some padding there, and it was just like she landed badly, or like something had been left behind. But
if there is, it's one of those like terrible school desk. Remember those school mats?
Oh my god! Yeah. I remember that. That's just awakening a memory that I don't even fucking.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about those in years. Fucking the school mats.
Yeah.
But basically, what I'm saying is conventions don't really go well. You know, VidCon has been one of the main ones. That one's gone all right. I think there's been a few VidCon controversies that have happened, but I don't really remember any off the top of my head. Apart from, obviously, we could say TanaCon, but that is a thing that is entirely of itself away from VidCon. That was a thing that was like in spite of VidCon, I guess. Oh, the guy when I guess the VidCon some controversies when it came to like crowding and stuff. Because obviously they wouldn't handle the security that well, and obviously things would kind of go badly with everything going on there. When like the polls came in, there was like people like the fans were surrounding them, like it was insane stuff. And then Christian Burns is such a strange little piece of lore. Christian Burns. Do you know who Christian Burns is?
No.
Okay,
listen.
So basically, he was an Instagram influencer who went to VidCon, and he was this really arrogant little freak, and he had like about 100k on followers.
Oh, is he the guy that said he would sue the bouncer?
I don't know if he said he'd sue him, but he went to the security. He wasn't let in, but he went to the security, and he was like you know, oh, you're like, the security wouldn't let him in, so he's just started, like, making a video and insulting him, being like, oh, you're ugly as shit, bro, I'm full of clout and stuff. It's this really obnoxious, like, clout bro. And then what happened is essentially that, they just started boosting the guy. People saw the security guard getting, like, verbally abused, and they were like, fuck it, man, we're just making an account for that guy, and the followers for that guy, like, surpassed the other one. The guy was just doing his job, and Christian Burns was just, like, some arrogant piece of shit. So,
yeah.
I think those are, like, the only, like, that was, like, the only VidCon controversy that I really remember, I guess in a big way. LightWave is something different, because it's not really a convention as much as I think it falls into the category. But like the way that it is the way that it essentially is that it's like more of like an art gallery thing that was going on. So to give you kind of a rundown, I'm gonna at least introduce you to who's running it, and then some more thing into what was going on behind the scenes, what was happening, who was doing it. So do you know who Glink is?
I know Glink.
You know Glink. So for the viewers who don't
Old
know Glink,
commentary guy.
yeah, so he's an old commentary guy, did a bunch of League stuff back in the day. I believe he was the guy who originally noticed Mizkif, which is crazy lore. But he did a lot of old like streams and stuff, and he did commentary videos. He has like a really, I really remember his content cop video where he talks about like where everyone is now, and I thought that was a solid
Mhm.
video. But now he's kind of shifted to doing videos about like culture and fucking America and all that stuff, like videos about LA, and those videos have done really well. Those are like documentaries, and to be completely fair, those look really nice. Like if you look at some of those videos, they are like solid documentaries.
Mhm.
And then in the, I guess the midst of all this, he made LightWave, which is a convention that is essentially meant to be this artistic project, is essentially meant to have this like huge thing that was going on, to gather all these people together and have this. Well, I don't even know how to say. I don't even know how to describe it because it's this very thing of performative. I get performance art, and like philosophical debate, and it's like this is the LightWave is where all the philosophers and engineers like gather together of the world. This is the. I mean, he literally introduces it and be like,
All the Jaden Smiths of the world.
the can we just talk about the political state of the world right now? And there was the like he was gonna say he was saying like this was like for the philosophers and engineers and all that shit, and this is like the Roman Forum, the public forum of the Roman Empire, and that America's like modern Rome, which like I kind of see, but like why would you need it? Like the public forum doesn't make we already have a public forum, which is the internet, like ostensibly. So this whole idea seems really strange. It's an idea that is talking about internet shit directly, but also entirely rejecting that, and also being a local event and trying to break this
Yeah.
corporate mold. Which I mean, it sounds conceptually fine, but breaking the corporate mold is, I guess, a bit of a. If you want your event to succeed, if you want the message to get out there, right now the corporate mold is the way to go. I'm sure conceptually that sounds like an interesting idea, but that doesn't mean anyone's
Yeah.
gonna come. And indeed, Lightwave was an event that literally had like 0 people show up. So, I guess I'll give some context for this. So Glink started making this Lightwave event, off his like documentaries about culture and stuff, and he was talking about how this is gonna be something different. Started saying a bunch of YouTubers were coming. You know, Destiny was on his way. Boogie2988 was supposed to be on his way. There was Rusty Cage and CoffeeZilla and Lewis Rossman in the fucking trailer. They also had Ethan Hassan and Anthony Fantano and Anissa in there. Although it wasn't confirmed they were going, people were a little confused. And most of the audience immediately saw this trailer. It's like, this is a movement. A movement is brewing, and this is the new art. And they're like, what the hell is this? You know? Because the way they see it is that this is an exact copy of the vapid art hollow culture that he was criticizing Los Angeles for. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen much of his specific LA documentary. I've watched some of his other ones. I think they're solid. The LA documentary I haven't watched fully, but from what I imagine, LA is a place where, you know, they don't have like culturally, I think artistically, there's a lot of stuff that isn't really there. There's a lot of discussion about new art, I guess, from a lot of these lefty YouTubers who I'm always reminded of that Ethan is Online video where he talks about the like the rock,
The big stone.
the rock and the fan because the guy died of AIDS or something like that. I don't really know. And I was like, well, I don't know if this is real. The ideas he's drawing from this seems like completely nonsensical. And in a way, that is kind of what you know, Lightwave seemed like. You got all these big ideas and stuff, but what was really going to happen? There were activities and performances, and there were debate panels. I mean, apart from the activities and performances, you could do debate panels on Discord, and I think realistically, apart from the weird performances, this probably could have all been done as like a big like live show. A live show Discord event. That was awful. I burped in the middle of my sentence. That's it. That was actually a riff. I've been talking. Okay, hold on. I've been talking for 9 minutes straight. Give me some input. Come on, man.
Nah.
Fuck you. What the fuck? All right, fine. I guess I'll carry the show. All right. Anyway, what I was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
So apart from all this trailer and stuff, and people saying this is just very hollow and vapid, and seems like, oh, we're just doing art and stuff, man. From like, it very much seems like a privileged rich kid event where people who have a lot of money and obviously don't know what to do with it, or like haven't been brought up in a world where they don't have the thing to it, are just trying to do something that's like that makes them stand out and just apes like actual art and tries to make it into like a big
It
thing.
it just reminds me of Jaden Smith. How he's trying to like
You think just
pretend he's
entirely
not like
Jaden Smith? Yeah,
it's just all it's well it is Jaden Smithian in a way because it's like
Smithian.
they're coming across of this. It's like we're breaking free from the mold, but they're all like trust fund kids and like
Well, Glink isn't.
nepo
To be fair,
babies.
Glink isn't. I don't think Glink is a trust fund kid, but he
No,
certainly
I
has
bet
made
Glink
like a
had the
bunch.
purest intentions, but you know the only people who'd be showing up are the people who will like that.
To people who only see it as a societal thing and don't see like they want it for like status and not like
Yeah,
actual interest.
to
Yeah.
look different.
Yeah, and that's kind of the vibe that I get from I mean that's kind of the vibe I get from Lightwave in general. And as you see, the performances and stuff are really like strange. I guess there's like a bunch I want to get onto all this stuff. But basically, Lightwave started in about June 26th, 2022 in Austin, Texas. I think it was essentially just like a big I don't know if it's a tent or something, but it was like a building and it was being held there and there's a bunch of activities and stuff. Now the issue with this is that not only was the promotion kind of like ass, because there was one trailer and there was a bunch of flyers around Austin, but also the fact that this was being held in Austin, Texas, during which most YouTubers would have been in VidCon. Now, this is obviously that two places are very far away. It does not make sense to me. I don't know. I think he explains this, but like by having to push the date back or whatever. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't make sense to me how he had 3 months to do this. By the way, he said this is like a culmination of my work over 3 months, and so he decided to schedule it on the days that people would be out for Anaheim, California in VidCon. And it's not in California. Whereas let's take TanaCon, for example, that was an event that was in California, and that's what kind of led to its undoing because it was there and people went to it and stuff. Like people could go in and there was a lot of lines and things, and that made it overcrowd. But in Glink's case, he hosted it so far away, which seemed like such a strange idea, that no one showed up. Literally no one showed up. And he live streamed the whole thing to his channel. I don't know if the live stream's still up, but there is a thing where it is. You can see the shots. It is just empty white chairs. It looks awful.
Not a single person showed up.
There were, I think, the head count is probably around 20, over the day, like over the entire day. I can send you a screenshot. Hold on.
Yeah. Didn't he make a tweet about something like this? I feel like I'm vaguely remembering.
He did like a whole thing about this. I remember that. Obviously, it was like a big event, but like look at that. Like it's all the empty fucking chairs
Some dude in the background.
and some like employees looking at their phones. I mean, it's absolutely like it's really funny, but also like incredibly soul crushing if you were to do that. But also, this is entirely avoidable. If Glink like scheduled this to if he scheduled this to a place where he actually could go there, I think this would have been more successful. Obviously, if he had managed to. Also, the idea that basically he couldn't show the address either, which is really weird to me. Essentially, he had some controversial guests on, but they were talking about like Negative XP, for example. He's a guy who's like big in with like the incel core audience. Like he made obviously he made a very popular song. So his idea was that if he leaves the address there, people are gonna control him. But the other issue is if no one knows where the address is, how are they gonna turn up? They have to basically. What it was told is this is being held in Austin, Texas. Where in Austin, Texas? Are people just going to roam around the city until they find a big sign saying LightWave? Like it doesn't. Like it goes again. He's talking about breaking the corporate mold, but this goes against all conventional ways to promote a convention. Which is, if you want to be ideologically say that, sure, but you're going to sink a lot of money into something that's essentially a failure because it doesn't show the message to anyone. It looks ridiculous when you've got like like a ton of white seats and just completely empty. To say that you're spreading the message or using this money to spread a message or start a movement is absurd because no one's turning up for the movement. In some ways, you do need to advertise your things. I understand that obviously, I think people can have an issue with how the place we live in now where you have to advertise everything. I think the internet especially has that. And you can't really do like return to forum days.
Yeah.
But like when you have these events, you kind of have to show and be like, yeah, I mean, there's a reason people are gonna turn. You gotta have people turn up somehow if you want people if you want this to have a point. Otherwise, it's just a personal project that you spent like a ton of money on, and it doesn't make sense.
That in its way is its own kind of art where it's like I spent 3 months making something nobody cares about.
I mean, that's kind of sad. I don't really know if the
It's
thing is,
upsetting.
it's really it is really kind of pathetic. Not to be a dick, but like, so when you
Yeah.
look at that, it's just like, what is this guy thinking? What is this guy thinking? Um, if that wasn't enough, you know, the guests, you know, they're gonna have panels with all these people. Essentially, it was just a PowerPoint like presentation and stuff. At the beginning, and then they had like people sit down and be like, yeah, let's talk about like, is YouTube ever gonna fall, or is what can replace YouTube? Like a topic that's been discussed like 1,000 times. But the guests they had were interesting because out of all the guests they were gonna have, a lot of them dropped out. Rusty Cage cancelled, CoffeeZilla cancelled. Boogie wasn't even coming. He didn't even know he had an invite, and Glink clarified that when he said Boogie was coming, that was a joke. It doesn't seem like one for me, but and actually, it didn't seem like one for a lot of other people because obviously there was a way that someone was obviously going to ask Boogie like, "Hey, you're going to be at LightWave?" And he was like, "What the fuck is LightWave? I've never been invited to this in my life." And Destiny didn't show up on the day of it because he cancelled for personal reasons, which Glink was pissed at. And to be fair, I will give this to him. He handled the way that he wrapped up the whole thing, like the way that he managed to handle the Destiny's cancellation was a big thing. Now he said personal reasons, and that might be true, but also it's the fact that like, I don't know. You look at that, you look at this like going on right now, and you're like, is it really personal reasons? Like, is it? Did he? Because he made chats messages, obviously, being like, what the fuck is this event? Obviously, I don't know if that was before or after the cancellation. All we know is that Destiny cancelled. I think it was. We know that he announced it like 6 hours in on the political panel that was meant to have him. But Destiny just cancelled. He was like, what the hell is this? He said, what the hell is this? I don't know if that was the reason. I'm not sure whether he actually saw the event and was like, fuck this, or it was actual personal reasons and he saw it as well. My theory is that he might have seen it and be like, just like, fuck it, I'm not preaching to an empty crowd. But we did get Lewis Rossman. That was good. He had one of his friends, actually not one of his friends, one of the people who would donate like $1 million to his non-profit, managed to come along and basically convinced him like, hey, can you come over please? We kind of need guests and stuff. It's going to be a shit show, but come over. And Lewis Rossman, to be fair, is an absolute fucking G, because he just goes there and he's like, all right, I'll take any chance to talk about fucking right to repair. It's fine. And he's done a lot of really good work and stuff. I do feel kind of bad for him though, because in some of these clips, he is just very awkwardly shuffling around. Well, actually, not even shuffling around. He's in his chair and just like, it just seems like he doesn't want to be there. Point of LightWave is that if you're going to a convention, you kind of want to have something new. Either that or the novelty, I guess, of seeing the creators and stuff. And VidCon is not really new, but you get to see a meet and greet and stuff. You get to see these people. LightWave isn't really have the mentality.
Creators that pop up.
I mean, yeah, but we're talking about LightWave as a mentality is to be this discussion, and the topics they're talking about is like, you know, right to repair, which is a good thing. First of all, right to repair is an absolutely good thing that should be done. People should be able to repair their own stuff. I find it fucking insane that at least, I don't know if it's in the UK, but in the US at least, they do not have that kind of, that people are trying to erase that right. That is fucking insane to me. But to, like, for example, like, is that really a new topic like an exclusive thing that you would go to see? Or would you go in person to see that? Because here's the thing with conventions: when you're going there to see it, you're committing your day to it. You're committing I wouldn't say your livelihood in the sense that that your day's in their hands, and you want the people to go off with a good mood, maybe with a message or something. Obviously, no one paid for LightWave, so it was going to be a net loss from there. The activities and performances were really weird. The activities just look strange to me, but I didn't know what they were specifically. But if someone used them, I probably would have known. Well, there wasn't a ball pit there. There was it was like a bunch of chairs and stuff. I can try and show this to you. But look at it. What the fuck? This is from someone's stream. Use me is a bunch of doohickeys. It's a bunch of thingamajigs. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of shit.
Two rocking chairs, a fucking sign that says "Use me," and a desk in the middle.
Yeah, and they're all
everything's been spray painted with retarded shit.
I know. It's like really. So it's like. And then you look inside, and actually, I should probably put the screen share back on again. My bad. So it's a big white room, and they've got a chair in it. And below the chair is a video of someone's feet on like the beach in some water, on like a monitor. What? I don't understand what the fucking point. Maybe I'm like a guy who just does not get it. Maybe I'm the little like And maybe I'm the little normie to these philosophers. I'm not understanding the real meaning of this chair. But like, then they start putting more chairs on, bringing them from outside, and then they start having dancers coming and posing and like little thing. And then people start going on skateboards. One of the dancers falls over. It's like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, what the fuck? But yeah, I mean, at least they had guests. Obviously Lewis Rossman's turned up. They had Ariel Pink. Negative XP was there. There was one I don't remember her name. It was DJ Ravasi or something. I don't really remember. But that was one of the DJs there. A bunch of little political people were there. Lewis Rossman filled in for Destiny on a second panel. They had Ice Poseidon, who wasn't even invited to it, but he came along. It was like, fuck it, I guess. Probably because he's banned from VidCon for everything. So I guess his next option is LightWave until he gets banned from there again. There's this really awful clip. Actually, awful, I wouldn't say. But it's just cringe. Where this poor DJ who's come to the set makes a specific song for LightWave and plays it for 3 minutes to an audience of no one. And obviously, she would have probably have to take some payment to get there, obviously. But it's just so soul-crushing that the one of the employees was like, "Yeah, this sounds good, by the way," just to like give us some hope and stuff. It's like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
That is so unfortunate. I feel so bad for that person.
I know, yeah, it's kind of nuts. The thing is, everyone, even the guest panels of what they're all controversies. The DJ is DJ Navasi, and they start talking about like COVID conspiracies and stuff on the panel. And she starts pushing it, I think. The Negative XP obviously has an FBI profile on him. He's associated to Incel Core. And Ariel Pink is, like, at the time, I think still is, going through, like, a rape case in LA. So you have, like, a bunch of all these different people, wildly controversial, and you gather them together for, like, a little discussion and stuff. For like, people who were that risky that you couldn't show the address, it seems kind of strange that nothing really happened with them, as far as I know. They did some performances, I think. I think Negative XP performed at LightWave. If you had the security, you could have taken the risk of the trolling and just let it go. So and again, it puzzles me how the logistics of this event were placed. Not in the sense of TanaCon, where it's like they had no food or water, there was overcrowding, it was fucking awful. It's in the sense of, how did he think this was gonna go? You know what I mean? Yeah. How did he think this was gonna go? I mean, yeah, the people had like, he was expecting like 300 people there. They had like 100. They're like 20. Like a head count 20. And then in the live chat, there was like 100 people at his peak, and most of the audience was shitting on him. I was like, where did this come from? Like, how has this whole event got to this point? And how has this taken 3 months for basically this? Especially when, how much do you think he spent on this?
How much do I think he spent as a whole?
Yeah, on the event.
Oh, way too much. Probably like $1,000 or $2,000.
No. Go higher.
10 grand?
Higher.
20 grand.
Higher.
50 grand.
Okay, a bit lower. 40 grand. At least 40 grand. At least 40 grand. At least 40,000.
How did he get 40 grand?
Well, it was out of his personal. So there's a few things with this. First of all, a part of this is out of his own personal money. So he spent like a shit ton of this on an event that, when you put that context into this and this whole event, you look at this like, what? You just think like, what the fuck happened here? But also, there was some company was sponsoring this as a sort of other thing. Essentially, this was going to be like before this was happening, Mudahar find out this is going to be like a birthday bash for the Kino Corner, who's another YouTuber, and he was making this all kind of stuff. And in that sense, they had like a company behind them who were like, yeah, we'll take this on. It was some like anti-corporate company who were like, hey, we'll take this on, we'll look into this stuff. And they obviously saw this, but the more that Glink had a hold of the event, the more it seemed like it was just a convention about him, according to some people. Again, Mudahar's video is okay. I think it's inaccurate, but I think he did uncover some good information. Let me be clear, not the best source. Basically, they had a company, this whole Futo organization was like planning it, and they were like some computer people. And then they just kind of pulled out because they realized that this was turning into LightWave and this was not really going to be anything special. And they thought like, well, this is fucked. And they just kind of, they dipped and realized this was going to go badly. It was going to go badly, so they even knew it. So I guess moving on, after LightWave, everyone was kind of like, what the hell is this? Understandably, they were confused at what was going on. Glink may have been on drugs. Not sure. Now, Now, this is speculation. He denies being doped upon having a psychedelic binge, but it makes sense considering that he made videos about drugs beforehand. He was on stream and he was like, dude, I took 1.5 grams of mushrooms and it changed my whole life. That is like, I mean, it seemed to me, my theory is that he's definitely had this in like a psychedelic binge because he only finished this. He said he only finished this like a day before the event started, which definitely looks more like that. But if that's true, then why is it 3 months? And why is it in fucking Austin? And why is it on the same days as Vic? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And I think the only explanation for me is drugs. Because it's like, how can someone see all these red flags?
Well, I cannot like fathom it other than pure idiocy or he is on some wacky shies.
Do you think he was on some fucking insane stuff that was going on?
I think he's on the psycho pills, yeah.
He's on the psycho pills, damn. I wouldn't say that hard. I think he just had way... I don't think he had like... I wouldn't...
I don't think it was heroin added like 3-month-long binge. I think he probably just took a bit too many.
He took like a bunch of LSD and was like, dude, bro, we need to make LightWave, and then he made this whole event into it. But 3 months. 3 months. Like, doesn't that seem a bit long? Doesn't that seem a bit much for that? Again, he's denied being like some sort of addict or whatever, and there's no proof to suggest he is one. He did make a video later saying like art show on acid, which was not the LightWave documentary, sadly. He could have been. I don't know how much 1.5 grams of mushrooms does to you. I don't think it does much from what I've looked online, but obviously, for the UK authorities, I do not take drugs. I've never even touched a can of alcohol.
I've never even touched a can of weed.
A can of weed, yeah. Again, he denies this, and he says this was just a project, and he still says this is a success after the whole event. And now,
really?
Yeah, he goes on podcasts and stuff, and he's like, well, yeah, this is a success for me. Because the idea for him is that this is an investment in an idea. That's the way he put it, which sounds like I'm being sold NFTs. I can't lie.
Yeah.
That sounds like I'm being sold NFTs. But if you look at this event, do you think that like the entire it doesn't make sense? Like the whole idea of investing in ideas. I mean, actually, we can say this: we're 3 years out now since LightWave, almost 4 years. Has the investment paid off? Not really.
I think so.
I think not. I think not. He's made a bunch of other stuff, to be fair, like little other art galleries, but those have been mostly local and not really for YouTube. And I think that's the good direction to go with it. Kudos to Glink for being one of the only people who actually saw this and learned from it with other events and not being like, we didn't need to know about all these other internet events that he was doing because that was more an artistic expression of local art. But this LightWave stuff still remains like this little oddity in like what was going on through this guy's mind. It's nothing serious because thankfully no one got hurt or anything. No one got fucking...
No, it's just like a shit show.
They didn't get swatted. No one got hurt. Nothing fucking happened. Because no one was there to get hurt, I guess. It's like a cringe little shit show that you just kind of look at and you're like, what the hell happened here? What was happening? What was going on? And I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of like where LightWave ends. Again, I didn't know that Glink actually... He's still holding on to day 2 because apparently... So there were 2 days of LightWave. Day 1 was streamed. The second one was not streamed and was recorded for a documentary. I'm waiting on that documentary. It's been like 3 years. That documentary has not come out as far as I know. And then after the whole documentary, after the whole thing came out, he made this like really like pseudo-ironic video being like, well, the guests enjoy it and stuff. Actually, no, I'm jumping from point to point. But he said the guests enjoyed it, so it's fine. Which, I mean... Of course they would. I mean, like, obviously, if they would, if you made an event, you poured like 40,000 into it, and no one showed up, you probably wouldn't tell them, well, it was shite, it did kind of fucking suck ass. You would be like, yeah, no, the event was fine, because you want to feel bad. Motivation wise, you'd feel bad for him for doing all this stuff. You got all these little like infrared little cards and stuff going around. And you think like, oh, the designs they've been putting putting their heart and soul into it, but like no one really comes up. There's this great moment in this guy's stream where he's coming up to the event and he talks to one of the security guards. He's like, "How is it going?" And the security guard's like, the security guard's like, I mean, yeah. The fact that we're going at the standard of no one got hurt is like. That's not saying it's a success.
That's an upsetting thing that we have as a standard.
If we're up to the levels in YouTube conventions, at least no one got swatted and no one got fucking heat stroke. Like, thank God for that. So I mean, I can the sense of like LightWave didn't harm as many people, but I think in some ways it was probably just as much of a failure as TanaCon, and I guess July 15th. I think it is not in the same ways, but I think in levels of failure. TanaCon, for example, was a failure for its attendees. They completely mistreated them, absolutely. July 15th failed to really even be a convention. It duped its viewers into thinking everyone was going to be there. And then FouseyTube got on top of a van, on top of a car, and yelled and cried and screamed. So no one really thought it was a convention. LightWave just failed to entertain. I feel like anyone going there, even anyone looking at it, would be like, "What the hell's going on?" It contradicted itself like constantly in what it would be. And I feel like a lot of these are very much doomed failures. You could see it was coming a mile away. I hate to put these people down. I don't want to be like a guy who's putting people down because, I look at these events and I see like, there's definitely admirable. I think in all three events, I mean, TanaCon literally failed because too many people showed up. If they had like 1,000 people, I think there was and actually not even 1,000 people. If they had actual amenities and stuff for people outside and stuff, and they were taking care of them and things were happening, TanaCon could have been all right. To have this, and I think to have this kind of like girl-oriented place for VidCon in an area at the time where I think a lot of it was male-dominated, where there's a lot of those like the idea for YouTube initially was always going to be those gaming YouTubers. That's why it started with VidCon, 2010. And that's not to say that like it's like a woman version of VidCon, but I think all these like beauty tea people could have been like the fact that 5,000 people came out to that event is a lot, and that means a lot to them. And I think people looking at that would probably be like, yeah, that definitely makes sense. But with LightWave, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, what the hell's going? What was the point? What was I here for?
Yeah, the biggest like sell points of those people too is that Tana is an infamous person who's crashed out. Fousey was bound to crash out and was actively lying about the ongoing thing. Glink is just a guy.
True. Yeah.
And
although
I'd say necessarily.
Although the thing is, no one had got an idea of him until LightWave, and then people realized, hey, this guy sounds insane. this guy blew $40,000 in an event that like no one showed up to, and had like the weirdest arts and performances, and the idea behind it was entirely driving. Who the hell? Could anyone else afford to throw away $40,000? Is the question of their own money.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a disconnect with TanaCon and FouseyTube, especially because TanaCon, the money stuff was on the guy who was organizing it, the Segway guy. And with FouseyTube, it was the there was the whole thing where he didn't organize it himself. There were like Live Nation, like all these ticket places that were actually giving him the venue. LightWave was fully funded by Glink himself, which makes it novel in the fact that he actually did it himself, but also in the fact that it's kind of crazy because it kind of comes into the disconnect between viewers and creators. Because I hate when creators go on and they talk about, oh, my video got demonetized. Thank God people don't do that anymore, by the way. But to like, even I'm kind of guilty of this to an extent because I complain about this, and I try to minimize it as much as possible. But when people start complaining about like, oh, my video's a 10 out of 10, man. Oh, my video's demonetized. Oh, my video's not gonna be views. It's like you are in such a privileged fucking position, where like your audience does not have that privilege. They have a 9 to 5, maybe they have a retail job or whatever. They come home and they watch your videos as entertainment. They do not want to hear you on a position that is objectively, as an established creator, a position that is objectively more fortunate to whine about like, my fucking video got a 10 out of 10. It's like, bro. And so when audiences see these people blowing money and all this stuff, and when they see, if I was someone who was a fan of Glink, and I saw he threw $40,000 on this event after going on this documentary and talking about like how the rich life of LA and how that's like made people so hollow and vapid, and how they're mistreating people below them. One of the things the documentary focuses on is the homeless problem in LA. And so for him to then blow $40,000 on a fucking like conceptual philosophical event just does not make sense to me. And at worst, it's like a spit in the face. But in reality, It's strange and it kind of goes. I think there's definitely a sense of ego involved. I wouldn't hold it against Glink. I think the guy is. He's kind of fell off since then. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. But I think
Oh
he's
yeah.
kind of. I think it's more of a personal development. I think the fact that he actually does other art galleries and conventions and places where people show up and
Well,
have
he seems
fun.
like a guy who can get his shit together. He doesn't seem
Um,
like a guy who's gonna dwell or like keep kind of
no,
pestering the same
no. I
kind of
would say
idea.
he did well. Would say he did well.
You think?
I think especially Lightwave hung over his head. I think it's hard to not dwell over that stuff. If I spent $40,000 on that, I wouldn't sleep about it.
No, true.
And like he also has a grudge against Mudahar because Mudahar made the video on Lightwave, and I think there are some parts of that are just entirely like dishonest. I think there were some clips in that Mudahar video he made where he just does not show the right thing, and he tries to make this conspiracy that the event was like anti-corporate, that they had a corporate event. He was very much trying to sell this as a scam. It is not a scam. There were free tickets. No one got scammed. Like no one got scammed.
Yeah.
This just failed and it sucked. And LightWave is probably the most closest one where you can see this and think like that could probably have an idea again. And it is an anomaly in the fact that the person who made this terrible YouTube convention, or YouTube related convention, I'd just say to get specifics right, has made something else that's completely like different.
I believe that Glink is probably a nice guy. I mean, he's done his own art galleries, right?
Yeah, he has like little videos about
I
art
assume
galleries
they've
and
done
stuff.
pretty good.
Yeah, it is, but I just find like Lightwave an entirely like ego consumed, terribly handled event.
Oh yeah.
Just in terms of like how obvious it was gonna be, and how telegraphed it was. It doesn't make like Glink a necessarily bad person. It's just funny. I can't lie. It's just funny to see the empty seats and be like, lol. Especially when it's like, this is the Roman Forum. You know, this is the public forum of the Roman Empire, and it's like, bro, no one showed up. No one turned up, man. Come on. I guess speaking about conventions, I don't really do that many in the UK, do they?
No, it's not a big thing. Well, we've got Insomnia.
We had Insomnia. They shut down recently.
Oh yeah.
I think they shut down. I'll have a look. Insomnia. Okay, I don't want insomnia definition NHS. Insomnia is a common sleep disorder. I mean, no. Gaming festival.
We do still have that.
We do still have insomnia. That is the thing that exists. They're saying I-74, but I think it ended. I remember it ending specifically. Okay, buy tickets. It does say the gaming festival Insomnia. Magic the Gathering, Insomnia. Find out more. This is the part. This isn't a YouTube convention, Insomnia, but it's where all the people in Europe gather around. All the YouTubers in Europe. Yeah. Fortunately, I can't go because I would not resist the temptation to go to Parasynical's. Parasynical's I want to take a picture.
We could go together.
No.
You don't want to meet your fucking idol?
Nah, I think I'm good, man. I could bring my I could ask see if I have my friend still has the Parasynical hat. Do you remember the big purple one?
Oh yeah, I remember the hat.
I got
My
one of those.
friend from high school saw Pyrocynical and
Damn.
Willany and all of those people and Memulus.
Jeez.
At Insomnia, and he's like trying his hardest like not to like be a geek about it at the event in the photos. Like he's like doing like a weird smile with glasses on, and Pyro's just like waving,
Bro.
like awkwardly because the kid's like.
He's afraid of Parasynical, that's why.
Yeah, probably. And then Willanese has like the squarest head I've seen. That is the one photo, not a public thing. One photo where he has the squarest head I've seen ever.
Did you see?
Like
I saw that clip of Willany. He was talking to Dexerto, and he was like, one thing I removed from the internet. It was shorts content. And I think like KSI made a response being like, "This is bullshit and stuff." I'd write like shorts content is hilarious. I'm like, no, I agree, 100%. Sorry, shorts content fucking sucks. Sorry, I like. TikTok has objectively made some funny stuff, but like 90% of that is garbage. Like it's totally shit. I think,
and that's its own like
website,
right? You know.
Yeah.
For its own kind of thing. YouTube Shorts is just meant to be a competitor of
TikTok,
and I mean, it does well at it, and people do well at it, like monetarily. But like, it doesn't. Tell me a funny, memorable YouTube short right now.
A funny, memorable YouTube short. The guy who he's on TikTok as well. There's an exclusive YouTube short one.
There you go.
There isn't like exclusive. All the guys who are good on YouTube Shorts. If there's any good guys on YouTube Shorts,
they put it on Reels.
They put it on Reels. They put it everywhere.
They put it on everything. So it's not like a YouTube
like short form content is a universal platform itself, and the fact that you can see it anywhere. And I think it
Yeah.
sucks. I think it fucking sucks because it doesn't really give you an attachment to the creator, and it makes people's attention span go less. I prefer a world without shorts content. It could exist on TikTok. I think I was fine with it existing on TikTok itself, but the fact that it's now on YouTube is kind of annoying. Back then, there was a separation. You had like Musically back then,
Yeah.
and that was like a thing where it's like, okay, well that's there, and then there's this YouTube and stuff. I'm not trying to be an elitist, but I do
I wonder if there's been any TikTok conventions.
Playlist Live. Fucking hell.
Oh yeah,
Playlist Live, yeah. I think that's been shut down now. It was
probably.
let me see. I'll have a look. I don't remember it. Playlist Live. Yeah, it is shut down. Was an annual convention.
Do you remember when TikTok went into Congress or like went into a senator's hearing, and the senator is just insanely racist?
Yeah, I
He's
feel
like,
like
do you work
for the Chinese
government? He's like,
government?
Senator, I am Singaporean. He's like, have you colluded with the Chinese? Senator, I am Singaporean.
Fucking hell. Playlist Live. I think this got shut down. Logistical factors. I feel like this got shut down because too many people got raped at this convention. I feel that's all I know.
Oh, probably.
There's always
Yeah, the Buddha came.
the Buddha. Yeah, dude, the Buddha flew over. Could you imagine that? Some TikTok pedo with like a panel.
Yeah.
The TikTok pedo panel.
What's his name? Paul Breach, the Buddha.
Paul Breach, dude. Paul Breach, the goat. One of my friends. He shut my door. One of my friends saw Paul Breach out in the wild and took a picture with him.
Really?
Yeah, he's still around.
I'm a big fan.
It's like who the fuck? Stephen Dawson, dude. I love Stephen Dawson. He's not a TikTok guy, but I think he's you do not. You gotta know Stephen Dawson law, surely.
I'd probably know him by face, but not by name.
Dude, this fucking video, dude.
Yes.
This guy is like some freak pervert, but this guy is so awesome. I don't care.
He's insanely autistic too, probably. But like,
dude, Stephen
crap
Dawson
and boring.
calls the Quran crap and boring.
But this,
we've gone so far from conventions, but I mean, this is like,
fuck it. Who gives a shit? There's that one video of he gets a 9/11 t-shirt and he was like, "This is a picture of me next to 9/11, which I didn't know anything about it really."
I think I said to a friend, I was looking at Stephen Dawson. I went to a friend and I was like, "Dude, there are like the UK, America has like lolcows or whatever. The UK has like cryptids, you know."
Yeah,
we have like local people who you have no idea about. Like this guy lives in
Penny.
Like they're like spotted in like he's spotted in Ashford and stuff, and they're like, bro, this is like literally it's like Purple Aki in like in Merseyside.
Purple Aki is the strongest cryptid.
The strongest cryptid. He would win in like a death battle against any of them. 100%.
Isn't he dead now?
He did die. Yeah. Tesco bags are half mast. Thank God. I mean, he did like kill. Or he did like lead to like manslaughter or something. Kill someone. I don't really know.
He raped multiple children.
He didn't. I don't know if he raped anyone. Let's be clear.
Sexually abused.
He touched them. He touched them up quite a lot.
So, defending Purple Aki, are you, pal?
Defending. Okay, dude. I'm just being accurate. All right, buddy.
All right, you definition loser. Shut up.
You can't be slandering Purple Aki.
And also, he did actually rape someone.
Did he? I don't know if he actually did.
Yeah, he got them locked in a chair and proceeded to rape the shit out of them.
That's in prison, though. It doesn't count.
Okay. No, you got a point.
No, I remember that. Is this really? I think it's this really stupid story. It's this really stupid story where they're like leading him on, and where he like goes to the prison and was like, "See if you can squeeze yourself through that chair." But we thought, I'm sorry, but I thought you were referring to like the muscles he touch up, you know?
No. Even though that's like fucking terrifying.
How have we gotten so far from LightWave, by the way? How have we gotten so far?
LightWave, Purple Aki.
LightWave to Purple Aki? Dude. Wow. Anyway, Glink is interesting. An interesting guy. He's done some documentaries and stuff. And I linked it in here. Hold on, I got this here. But he's done like a bunch of other art shows and stuff, like a couple more. And they seem to have done well. And I think that's good. I think I think out of everyone who's done this failed convention, he's realized the direction he needs to take it and has actually done like a fairly good way to go with that. And I think in that sense it works. Now I don't know if he's moved on from this whole idea of I don't know. the
Well, God, I fucking hope so.
like the sense of the idea from the galleries is that like is he still kind of get embodying that rich kid like culture thing?
I don't think he personally is. I think he's probably hopped up on drugs a bit. Probably was like, let's make something big, something special. Was
Hmm.
like jeering around his room.
And again, an event like that is fine, but it was just terribly planned. Like
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
like it. The concept of LightWave is not what I care about. I think it's contradictory in the sense that like it feels weird with the ideals he was posing. But Lightwave is not a bad idea. You want to have a convention with some activities and performances and stuff? Go for it, fucking go for it. But how did he think this was gonna go? Why did he spend $40,000 on something that was like that kind of fated? Fated to be like that strange. Oh, no, sorry. I'm saying strange. Shit. It was fated to be like perform shit. I'm gonna say it here. Like I'm just gonna be fucking be real about it. So, yeah. I mean, the guy. I think he's definitely pursuing his own personal ideas of like. I mean, he got a video that banged after this. To be fair, so I wouldn't say he's fell off in that much. But
No.
I think he definitely has like an idea of like I think his idea has been a lot more personal, and he's been looking at like
Different ways to put that out there.
yeah. I think he's realized. I think one of the goals, I guess, his thing was to, I guess, get off the internet. But that's like a thing for him. That's a thing for to move more projects on off the internet, and he's done that to be fair. But I don't think that validates that Lightwave. If Lightwave was like any kind of success and stuff. But I think in some ways it feels like sometimes he's disconnected from reality, and sometimes he doesn't, seem to see that. I guess.
Yeah.
So there we go, guys. The
That's the
story
story
of
of Glink.
Lightwave. That's the story of Lightwave, really, more than Glink. Glink's got an entire.
Glink is
There,
light now.
there are a lot of things, like during Glink's whole thing, like around this whole Lightwave stuff. He had like this debate with Mr. Girl about like porn, and he was around Destiny's orbit. Obviously, that's how he got in contact with him. But he had this debate around it. It was really weird. I think he has this idea that porn. I mean, actually, I would actually agree with him on this kind of idea that like porn is this like this new drug. And it affects the mind badly in ways like addiction to a lot of things will.
Mhm.
And he believes that porn is a guy that thinks that will be kind of released more dopamine. I'm paraphrasing a lot because I don't remember his specific argument, but his entire thing was porn bad. I know. Which again, I think it's a completely fair thing to do. But if you would, the guy who thinks that porn is bad, why would you then go and do like a bunch of drugs and do I guess like, this is like all of my assumptions. I'm assuming that he went off and had a psychedelic binge because that's the only explanation I can have for the concept of something like this or the mishandling of it. I don't think he was high on the day, but I think that was probably the fact that it was 3 months. He was working on this for 3 months, and this is what it turned out to be. Makes me think that it was like some high idea to be like, oh yeah, we'll just drag everyone over here from VidCon and stuff, or it'll be like a local event, and local people will be interested in an internet convention, a convention that's on the internet, from a guy whose audience is on the internet and has made this stuff from the internet. I think in that sense, Glink felt like he impacted the world a lot more than he actually did, and that's my view on it. Obviously, when I make a video on this, I'm going to be a lot less introspective and be like, yeah, this sucks. Because in reality, this is where
well, that's where it comes in, right? This is for the more what do you personally feel?
The only reason
this shit was terrible.
If you want to talk about Glink specifically, I think there's a lot more introspective you can do about it. But if we're talking about Lightwave itself, no, Lightwave was a failure, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there we are.
If he had positive reception himself, like had a positive reaction to it, they're like all the best to him, even if it is cope,
I think it is. I think the fact that he's taken something away from it and is actually doing other stuff is something to write home about. I think that's a genuinely good thing that has happened, and you don't see that with the other conventions.
I respect his just like gumption to like just be like, fuck it, yeah, I'm doing a convention about something that I care about.
Yeah, you don't really see too many conventions nowadays. I think people are more careful because they realize their limits, which is something I don't think Glink realized until first time around. He was like, "Fucking hell."
Yeah. Which is completely okay.
Yeah. Again, the standards are that no one got hurt. No, thank fuck.
My sense is no one got groomed at the convention.
No one got diddled, and no one got fucked with. That is a new wave.
No one died.
No one died. Okay, I think I'm all out of anything about Lightwave. You got anything else you
Yeah.
want to say?
No, I'm good.
Well, thanks for having you around, you fucking dick. Wow. When are we
Well,
gonna...
I said what I had to say right there.
Yeah, well, I have to give some big conclusion, you know?
In conclusion,
Lightwave 2.
Stephen Dawson calls
Stephen-
the Quran crap and boring.
Stephen Dawson calls the Quran crap and boring.
Think
Fucking
you
hell.
read it all.
Get this third co-host in immediately, man. I can't deal with this.
Stephen Dawson.
Stephen, yes, let's get Stephen Dawson in. Come on.
Toastify, I think you're proper shit, you.
What the fuck? Oh my god. That's fucked
Stephen
up.
Dawson, don't say that.
That's-
Fuck off.
Thank you very much for watching this little episode, this little video, this little podcast online on the YouTube webs, WebNav. Thank you, and goodbye.